Humpty Dumpty by L. Frank Baum.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty back together again.
At the very top of the haymow in the barn, the speckled hen had made her nest. And each day, for 12 days, she had laid in it a pretty white egg. The speckled hen had made her nest in this out-of-the-way place so that no one would come to disturb her, as it was her intention to sit upon the eggs until they were hatched into chickens. Each day, as the hen laid her eggs, she would cackle to herself, saying, "This will in time be a beautiful chick, with soft, fluffy feathers all down its body, and bright little eyes that will look at the world in amazement. It will be one of my children, and I will love it so much." The hen named each egg as she laid it by the name she would call it when it became a chick. The first egg she named Cluckety-Cluck. The next egg she named Coddy-Cut, and so on and so forth. And when she came to the 12th egg, she called this last egg Humpty Dumpty. This 12th egg was remarkably big and white, and of a pretty shape. And now, as the nest was quite full, she had laid the egg she named Humpty Dumpty quite near the nest's edge. And then the speckled hen, after looking proudly at her work, went off to the barnyard, clucking joyfully in search of something to eat. When the hen had gone, Cluckety-Cluck, who was in the middle of the nest and the oldest egg of all, called out angrily, "It's getting crowded in this nest. Move up there, some of you fellows. Give me some room." And then he gave Coddy-Cut, who was above him, a little kick. I can't move unless somebody else does. And they're crowding me down," said Coddy-Cut. "I can't help it." So he kicked the egg next to him, and then they all continued kicking each other and rolling around in the nest until one of the eggs kicked poor Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty, as you heard, was laying on the edge of the nest, and he was kicked out of the nest and started to roll down the haystack until he came to a stop very near the bottom. Humpty Dumpty did not like this very well, but he was a bright egg for one so young, and after he had recovered from all this shaking and rolling, he began to look around him to see where he was. He saw that the barn door was open, and he caught sight of some trees and some bushes and some green grass with a silvery brook running through it. He saw waving grain and tasseled corn in the sunshine, flooding it all. The scene was very exciting, so Humpty Dumpty decided to look around before returning to the nest.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty back together again.
Humpty began to make his way carefully through the hay and was getting along pretty well when he heard somebody say, "Hey, where are you going?" The little egg, Humpty Dumpty, looked around and he found that he was next to a pretty little nest that had one brown egg in it. "Hey, brown egg, was that you that was talking to me?" Yes, it was me talking," replied the brown egg. "I asked you, where are you going?" "Well, who are you?" asked Humpty Dumpty. "Do you belong in our nest? What are you doing down here?" "Oh, no," answered the brown egg. "My name is Cunchy Cordu, and the black bantam laid me about an hour ago. This is where I belong, right here." "Oh, okay," said Humpty Dumpty proudly. "Well, I belong to the speckled hen myself." "Do you indeed?" replied the other egg. "I saw your mother go by a little while ago, and she's much bigger than my mother." "Well, yes, and I'm much bigger than you," said Humpty Dumpty. "But I'm going out to see the world, and if you'd like to come with me, I promise I will take good care of you." Thought the brown egg. Isn't it a little bit dangerous for eggs to roll around all by themselves? Aren't we supposed to stay in our nests and wait for our mothers? Humpty Dumpty answered, "Well, maybe you're right. But it's dangerous in the nest, too. My brothers might have smashed me with their kicking and rolling if I hadn't rolled out myself. Anyway, if we're careful, we can't come to much harm, can we? So come on, aren't you curious? Come along, little one. I promise I'll look after you. There's nothing to worry about."
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty back together again.
The brown egg gave Humpty Dumpty her hand, and they both got out of her nest and went through the door. "We must jump over the threshold," said Humpty Dumpty. "I'm scared," said the little brown egg. "And oh, I hear my mother over there." "Oh, come on then, let's hurry." "And do not be scared, or you'll get yourself all mixed up. It doesn't improve eggs to start shaking themselves up. Come on, we'll jump, but don't bump against me, or we will break each other's shells. Now ready to jump? 1, 2, 3, jump! They held each other's hands and jumped alight safely onto the road. Then, fearing their mother would see them, Humpty ran as fast as he could until he and the brown egg were hidden behind a rose bush in the garden. "I'm afraid we are bad eggs," said the little brown one, somewhat out of breath. "No, we're not. We're not bad," replied Humpty. "We were just laid this morning, so we're quite fresh. But now, since we're out here in the world, we must start out on our search for adventure. Here's the road. We will take it and it will lead us to some place or other. Come on." "Don't be afraid, little brown egg." So the little brown egg meekly gave Humpty Dumpty her hand, and together they made their way down the road until they came to a very high stone wall. The high stone wall had spikes on its top, and it seemed to go on a great distance, and the two eggs stopped and looked at the wall curiously. "I'd like to see what's behind this wall," said Humpty Dumpty, "but I don't think we'll be able to climb over it." No, you're right," said the brown egg. But just in front of them, the egg saw a little hole. "Hey, we can get through the hole if we crawl through that," she said. They ran to the hole and found it was just big enough for them to squeeze through. So they squeezed through it very carefully in order not to break their shells, and soon they were on the other side of the giant wall. The two eggs found themselves in a beautiful garden with brightly colored flowers and a stream running through it.
Humpty Dumpty sat on a wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. All the king's horses and all the king's men could not put Humpty back together again.
Humpty Dumpty by L. Frank Baum.